Let's podcast. Alongside Joe Giglio and Luke DeCock, columnist, News and Observer, I'm Joe Ovies. We are at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte. Talking season is underway. We're not inside Eford Studios, but we're always brought to you by Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com.
And since Luke's here, Bloom and Blinds as well, bringing you our coverage this week from Charlotte.
Look at that.
Can I start the program with an aside, since we love asides? James is coaching in a rec league, adult rec league. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm saying this because he's standing right in front of me, Andrew Luck. There is a kid who plays in the Fuquay Arena adult league who looks like Andrew Luck, but his name on the back of his shirt is Beef, and he's fat. Like, he looks like a fat Andrew Luck. And now here's skinny as fuck Andrew Luck, 6 feet from us, and I'm just like, what is happening? Because they played that team last night, and I'm like watching the game going, that's fat Andrew Luck. And now here we are.
This really is
He's like 170 pounds.
Luke,
he's like 6'4".
Luke, to Joe's point, this really is a bizarre as hell start to ACC Kickoff.
This is your Star Wars cantina, man.
I got Craig James over there. I got Andrew Luck right here. Ron Rivera and Frank Reich at some point will probably dap up and be like, hey, man.
Frank Reich's right there.
He's right there.
Right there. I've spent the whole morning looking for Matt Rule. There are so many ex-Panthers coaches around here.
It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening right now.
Jim Patterson's with Matt Rule today in Vegas.
Yes, exciting. Couldn't be more excited.
What happened to the ACC I love, Luke?
Thank you very much.
What is this? Where are we?
First they get rid of the State of Carolina basketball game. Then it's just all Panthers coaches. This is why they moved to Charlotte, so they get access to more ex-Panthers coaches.
And hey, rare praise for Josh Graham, who called his shot. Our guy,
Jeffrey.
Talked to John Fox yesterday. He's sitting down with Frank Wright right now. He's got Ron Rivera, and he's going to talk to Dave Canales tomorrow at practice. I'm like, what are you trying to do here? Touch them all.
If he gets Matt Rule on the phone, he gets a free sub.
So this is the current state of the ACC. And honestly, I guess it tracks with the current state of football in general, man.
Yeah.
You got this intermix of NFL guys, and GMs, and everything else, and it's just like, it really is a pro freaking sport now, man.
It is. It always has been, but now people are actually acknowledging it and spending the money. And I laughed today. Phillips used the phrase legitimate NIL.
What does that mean exactly?
It means whatever you want it to mean.
Of course.
This is why they're like, well, we need a hard cap, $20.5 million, and only legitimate NIL deals. It's like, bro, you didn't collectively bargain. You had a settlement. The plaintiff's lawyers, Berman and Kessler, are never going to go for this. Mm-hmm. Like, it's incredible. They finally do something that makes sense, and now they're like, well, we still want to put it. It's neither here nor there. You just wait for CSC to get sued. This is all going to end up back in front of Judge Wilkin eventually. Look, can we just jump right to the big news today?
What is it?
And that is
the Kyle Filipowski Memorial Court Storming policy.
It's funny. I had jotted this down and sitting there through an hour of the Jim Phillips ACC State of the Union. And we're scheduled to talk to Jim Phillips about more specific matters tomorrow. Again, scheduled. Fingers crossed that actually happens. But I did think it's interesting that most of the conversations we've had about the college football playoff and NIL, they've been drilled into the ground.
Yeah.
And the college football playoff, honestly, at this point, it's like, man, whatever you guys just decide on something. Right? So I'm kind of over that. So I'm like, all right, what's new? What is he going to drop today? 2 things. I mentioned the Kyle Filipowski rule, so they're going to start banning and fining court stormings. And it's all because of what happened with Kyle Filipowski at Duke. And then somewhere, Joe's gray heart grew 3 sizes that day because injury reports are back on the menu.
This might get me back in the ACC Fantasy Football League is
all
actually what might happen.
Gambling.
All because of gambling. And I think the best part of it is that before Phillips had even left the podium, UNC's entire roster was listed as questionable.
Well, speaking of questionable, is UNC even going to be here on Thursday?
Yeah.
How's that going Thursday?
Steven's going to be here on
Steven
Thursday.
will be, yeah.
I've now convinced myself. I have a lot of conspiracy theories about Stephen Belichick's contract and why we still don't have it and all these other things. I do think he is going to be the one who does the weekly radio show.
Okay.
I have some inside information on that he will be the person at top of the hill who does the weekly coaches radio show. I predicted the day that, even before Belichick was hired, he would be the one who does the in-game
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
The walk
Wojo
off.
style.
Yeah, the
right. Like, and we
Collins
have a
and
precedent
Wojo.
for
Yep,
that,
yep,
and we have
yep,
a precedent because Kay made the assistants do their weekly radio show too. I think we're going to get a healthy dose of Steven on Thursday.
Okay.
This Bill will be up there, do the podium that he's required to do, and we'll get Lombardi and Steven down here.
What about Friday's pigskin preview?
Oh, that's got Steve. Hey,
That's got Lombardi
Steven,
written all over it.
and I said would be better.
That's got
would be
Lombardi.
better.
Lombardi understands the show. I guess what I'm getting at here is, and this is something that I'm starting to get, and maybe you're in the same boat, I am starting to outwardly reject based on action. If Bill Belichick is good for UNC, if Bill Belichick is going to be promoted by the ACC as a feature of why you want to pay attention to this league, you need him to participate.
Well, and this gets back to the whole Jordan Brand stuff.
Yeah.
You are paying $10 million a year for Bill Belichick, the guy you saw on TV, the guy with the Super Bowl rings, the guy with the stupid hoodie with the cutoff sleeves. You didn't pay $10 million to have the University of Washington's defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And this was all in Bill's contract. All of the responsibilities associated with a college football coach.
The word that I'm getting and talking around is that they have been not very communicative.
No.
That the ACC itself is also like kind of flying without much, much guidance.
In fairness, we were in this building in October. They did not bring Cooper Flagg here. The ACC should have bought Cooper Flagg here and didn't.
Well,
so it's kind of an ACC failure if you're asking me.
And
we don't even know what's going to happen on Thursday. I'm just saying, we can't hammer Belichick and not bring the player.
I'm not hammering Belichick.
I'm just saying, like, knowing that Flagg should have been the guy sitting down here doing all of this and didn't.
Or Duke talking after winning the ACC championship on the floor, breaking a 70-year tradition.
Yeah.
The ACC could have made Duke do it.
Yes.
And chose not to.
Agree.
Which I would think now probably regret, given that Duke pulled the same crap in Newark and has, gotten a stern letter from the USBWA and APSE and everybody. Like, if you don't enforce your rules, why would anyone follow them? Whether that's Bill Belichick or Jimbo Fisher or Cooper Flagg or John Shire or whoever. And that was not Shire's decision. Shire actually told another writer, I was surprised no one wanted to talk to me.
I guess what I find interesting in all of this, and it gets back to the Jim Phillips press conference about revenue going up and their schedule and their marketing and everything else. There are some real easy fish in the barrel things that would help not just the universities and their own little silos of what they're trying to promote, but the league itself. And if everybody's being promoted and everybody gets to benefit all of this. Because clearly you see glimpses of it. I mean, we saw it with the ACC network coming out of spring meetings in Amelia Island where they're doing these sit-downs with Dabo and Bill Belichick.
Right.
Like, that's good content.
As they should.
That's what you should be doing.
You have access to these people in a way that we don't.
Giglio
should be using it.
Giglio sends me, I think you send me like a clip a day of Bill Belichick talking about something or people talking about.
This is the time I bilked the Raiders for Randy Moss.
Right,
This is the time I used the defensive lineman as a offensive tackle.
That's great PR for the
give me
league.
all of
that's
your genius
great
moves.
PR for the ACC.
So why would you let him wriggle off the hook?
That's the thing that
I'm with you on it.
This.
I'm with you. And it's interesting because one of the things that struck me about the two new policies, the gambling, the injury reports, and the court storming is it feels a little bit like a desperate attempt by the ACC to exert some control over anything.
Okay.
Here's a time players have more power in a house world. We got all this stuff going on. We got CSC. The NCAA has less power. We can't stop kids from transferring. We can't stop them from enrolling for 9 years. What can we do? We don't have any power to determine the CFP format, as we've talked about. In the end, the SEC and Big Ten can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Now, as I argued at the time with you guys after Amelia Island, and I think has been borne out pretty well, there are a lot of pressure points along the way to that. And something like NCAA tournament expansion is something that you can sort of go to Greg Sankey and be like, four of us have to agree on a lot of things, including how CSC is run, how we implement the house settlement. Like, if you want to go ahead and, wave it around and decide that we're going to automatic qualifiers in the CFP, we can make it really difficult to do a lot of other things. And I think that's a little bit of why Sankey is backed up. Now, the Big Ten is just full steam ahead. Like, we want Ohio State to be in the playoff, even if they go 5-7.
Yes.
It's very important to the Big Ten that happen.
Because somewhere along the lines, the SEC coaches got it through Greg Sankey's head. You understand that the 5-11 model benefits us more than anybody else, right? Like, when the coaches are the ones going, guys, no.
Right.
Stop it.
And it kind of speaks to the sort of state of the Big Ten with Minnesota and Michigan State and Iowa and all these schools that, were winning 10, 11 games a couple years ago, Illinois, that, hey, well, we need 4 guaranteed teams in, is you can see why that's attractive. But I do think the fact that Phillips, he talked about fairness and access. I mean, obviously, the last thing the ACC wants is to be locked into 2 spots no matter how many teams are in the playoff. The ACC football could theoretically be good again, just like ACC basketball could theoretically be good again. You don't want to foreclose anything, but I do think, the fact that NCAA basketball expansion has been tabled for the time being, that the CFP has 3 months to go to figure things out, or we're going to do it again at 12, although, the different model without the automatic, the buys for the top 4, all that, everything, the conference champions, suggests to me that we're in a little bit of a holding pattern on some of the stuff, which is why I don't think Phillips had much to say today.
I'm glad you said holding pattern, because that's kind of the impression that I got today. I think the press conference could be vastly different when we get to October for ACC tip-off.
Yeah.
So that could be a different matter altogether. All right. We appreciate you dropping by. It's a very, very busy show today.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people rotating through. I'm a little disappointed.
We need to get you out of here so we can have lunch.
There's that. Also, I would say we're moving you out because Jimbo Fisher is going to sit, but here we are again. They announced Jimbo Fisher as a new contributor to the ACC network, and he's nowhere to be found.
Of course. Why would you have him here when...
How
wait a second. He doesn't like to talk. That's the thing about Jimbo Fisher. That's the thing about Jimbo. He wouldn't want to be here because he wouldn't want to talk. He would want to be doing other things.
He hates talking.
He would love to be talking about how Texas A&M is paying him to do this.
Are you being serious right now? They hired Jimbo Fisher to be on an actual clock, not a podcast.
Yes, like an actual broadcast.
Is Jeremy the one who has to wrangle?
No.
Is that his full-time job?
I do not think that is Jeremy
because
Michael's
whatever
full-time
earpiece
job
they're going
from
to put
the
in that
ACC
guy,
He's taking it out.
They're gonna have to put a fucking shocker in his ear.
They're
not in your ear.
They're gonna need 9-minute commercial breaks to catch up.
Jimbo Fisher said A block. Screw that.
What?
We now resume live action in the third quarter.
On the list of bad ideas.
What they might have to do is they might have to put the picture-in-picture where Jimbo's still just
he's
going
still
on.
talking as the second half
like a
kicks off.
WWF promo.
Right, while the game's going
Can we
commercials.
Can we give a tip of the cap here to ESPN and the network that they chose the guy who complained more about the ACC than any other human on earth to be an ACC tout?
I love it. It's right up there with Jim Boeheim.
I'm stunned right now. I did not know that they hired Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, that was one of the big announcements today for ACC.
Well, I'm sure you guys will get to talk to him someday.
Maybe. Look, when I found out he was the guy, so when's he available today? Oh, well, he's not here.
Did you burn that Christmas tree? That would be my only question for Jimbo Fisher. Because they go up really well.
Did that dog at Texas A&M never really imprint on you? Is that why things went the way that they went? Anyway,
all right.
Luke DeCott, columnist, News and Observer. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions. Guess what, Joe? They're at the house today.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
We're going to talk to ACC Supervisor of Officials Al Riveron here in a second. After that, we're going to bring on Stephen Godfrey, split zone duo. He's going to be here for the Sports Podcast Festival. We're just over a month away from the Sports Podcast Festival, Joe. It's, in fact, a month tomorrow.
So what I hear you saying is if I'm going to cook up a special edition hat for the Sports Podcast
it better be
Festival,
done now, and you got to let our guy Michael know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel? How do you feel about these backwards, upside down lettering hats that the youths seem to enjoy?
I feel like we're behind the trend already. They're about 2 years old. So by the time we produced a hat, it would be kind of like.
What if I told you we could cook up a triangle good backwards upside down?
I say you do it right now.
Okay.
Get Michael.
All right,
do
Michael.
it right now. It'll be available to have access.
What colorway would you like? I think it has to be white.
It has to be white, and then you could do a
you
red
want the
one.
ACC blue?
You could do a red one. You could do a blue one. You could do.
You want options?
Yeah, we could have options, right?
Okay.
Is that what you want to do? You want to do that? You want to do upside down triangle good for
upside down triangle good?
All right. We'll have access for that. We will have access for that. So yeah, that
will be at the Sports Podcast Festival. That's 8/23.
Yes.
It's a Saturday. It's week 0. There ain't shit on TV that day. I can just tell you that right now.
So you might as well just hang out with
Come
us.
down and see us. We'll have OG Light there. We'll have merch. We'll have official home field
We will
merch
have official home field
as
merch.
well. You have a great time with the Split Zone duo and our friend Caroline Darney as well.
It sounds like a win-win to me.
Feel like, and what about us?
Nobody cares about us
Why not us?
because people they'll think, we're superfluous. People see us at the Rialto whenever. You know what I'm saying?
It's fair.
It's not that special. Like,
We
wait,
tell good stories. Though.
like, hold up, we got to pay to see you hang out at a place that we see you regardless? I don't know about that. So go to therialto.com. It's going to be a good time. I mean, honestly, I can't think of a better way to kick off yet another football season than at the Rialto with our friends at Split Zone Duo. It's Big Screen Sports. And speaking of merch, speaking of Michael came up with an amazing OG Light shirt
He did.
for our Shady's event. So
I said that was I gave him the owl and he came up with the keg stand.
he went crazy with it. So
I did have to scold him though. He tried to put it on a onesie, and I'm like, no, we can't put the keg stand on a onesie.
Says who?
No, do not. I
Says
finally talked him out of it. Now come on.
So you're watching on YouTube right now. Over at OGTriangleMediaShop.com, we've added this shirt to the OG pop-up shop.
Okay.
Pop-up shop runs through the summer. It's going to wrap up on Labor Day. So we've got the design that Michael put together with every night's delight with OG Light. It comes in a white Comfort Colors pocket tee, a black Comfort Colors pocket tee, and most importantly, it comes in tank top form as well, because you are going to be bringing it to the pool, to the beach.
Yes.
In this Comfort Colors.
Yes.
OG
Very breathable.
Shady's Keg Party. So go check it out,
You should actually wear it
OGTriangleMediaShop.com.
to the OG Podcast Festival.
I might do that. Actually,
Sports podcast.
I got to put my order in now to make sure I have it ready to go for the Sports Podcast Festival. Again, all that is at OGTriangleMediaShop.com. Joe mentioned it earlier. All of our ACC coverage this year is going to be brought to you by our friends at Bloom & Blinds. The After Darks will be back.
Speaking
thanks
of
to
the
our
owl.
friends
Yeah.
at Bloom & Blinds. So call them. They support us. You support them. 919-980-9815. Something as simple as blinds repair, shade repair. They can do that for you. You're looking for a major overhaul of all your blinds and shades in the house. Save money
Might I
that way.
suggest this to the Hilton, who's got this natural lighting going in and out of our interviews.
Oh, we got like peak North Carolina summer weather, bright as hell and hot, and then now raining here
I see it.
in Charlotte. So call our guy, Chris, at Bloom & Blinds, 919-980-9815. And, of course, our friends at Roback. Check them out online, roback.com,
Show your gift.
RHOBACK.com. OG20 is the promo code.
Ben took care of you.
Shout out to Ben. I was very upset when I lost my Roback 5-panel hat that was clutch in Banff and in Glacier until I took a red bus tour. And at the very end, with the top down, the right wind gust caught it, and my hat is now a Grizzly Bears hat. A marmot is wearing it.
Yes, I like to think of more of the marmot with it.
A Colombian ground squirrel
Ooh.
is doing its thing with my Roback hat. Ridiculous. Anyway, all sorts of great stuff. Roback came in clutch on that trip, man. The hoodie was very, very key. You're rocking a hoodie right now. I'm going to debut the polo this week. Do we
I
coordinate
was
on
going
the
to say,
polo?
I'm wearing mine on Thursday. The blue.
I was planning on doing that too.
Oh, we could just rock it together.
So we'll coordinate. I'm very excited about
Coordinate.
that. So go to roback.com. They got all sorts of great stuff, and you can save by using our promo code OG20. Sitting down with us at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte is the Supervisor of Football Officials. He is Al Riveron. Thanks for sitting down.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So let's talk transparency.
I don't know if you want to thank us yet.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take that back, and it's under further review. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good call.
It's under review. Go ahead.
Excellent call.
Sky
Yep.
judge that thing.
It's actually,
No, that's a Mike Pereiraism.
Okay.
No, come on. I don't want to give Mike too much credit.
That's where I wanted to start, of all
Yeah.
things, actually. So you can give me all the stats about how good officiating is now, right? Like, what are you, like 98% or close to
Oh,
it?
no.
in terms of-
Over 98%.
Over 98%.
Over 98%.
I'm getting calls correct.
That's exactly right.
That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Well,
actually.
let me ask you a question. If you were to hire someone or review someone on a weekly, monthly basis that does what they do in front of millions of people at that speed and gets it right, Would you hire him again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Keep going then.
Look, I'm running at about 20%. We're getting things right technology.
And you're still here.
Somehow,
There you go.
Well, we're self-employed. Who's
yeah.
going to fire us, right? But when you get the calls wrong, or when the calls are wrong,
Yes.
that's when everybody just assumes everything is terrible. And there were some high-profile instances last year in the
Sure.
ACC. Is the only way to combat this transparency of letting the audience, the fans, in on the decision process, which is something that I think you did a little bit of last year, allowing the broadcast booth to get a feed of the replay, but maybe taking it even a step further. We mentioned Mike Pereira, in the UFL, they just let you hear everything. So is transparency the best way to just get everybody on the same page when it comes to those calls?
Transparency is one of those ways. So let's break this down into two different categories. We talk about a roughing the passer. And you can agree to disagree about was it forcible? So we have a passer that's contacted in the neck or head area. Now we talk about whether it reaches that level of it being forcible or not. And that's up for debate and discussion. And as long as we're debating it and we're discussing it, I still have a job. So it's a good thing. But that's not a reviewable aspect of the play. What you actually referred to was a reviewable aspect of a play, and now I'm showing my age, where we go underneath the hood and we actually open up the process. So question 2 there is, yes, we are going to go a step further. The ACC is the only league in the country this year where you're going to have not only whoever's doing the game, the audio and the video to see of what's going on, and a look into the command center, which we had last year. But we're going to go one step further, and last year we provided the network analyst, the Matt Austins, the Bill Amanier, the audio. They could hear us in Charlotte having a conversation with the referee and the replay official. This year they're going to see the video too of what we're discussing, which, by the way, it's already being shown in the stadium. So this year, all bets are off. The curtain is pulled back 100%. What are we trying to accomplish there? Transparency, number one.
Yeah.
And all we look at it from our end is we're going to show you how we get to that final ruling, for the lack of a better term. All we want you to see is they did their due diligence. And then we have to go back and apply the rule correctly. And that's, if we get to that point, everybody wins. Everybody wins. But that's not about getting it wrong on the field. That's a reviewable aspect. A holding call is not reviewable.
Right.
So we can talk about that till, forever.
I want to give you credit for all the things that you guys have done. And that number really is remarkable. And I do appreciate your transparency. And listen, we're Raleigh. I went to NC State, okay? And I want to talk about this because it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in 25 years.
That makes two of us.
Of covering football.
Yes.
And I think we all, you probably remember Darryl Stingley.
Yes.
When something like that happens, it just becomes, you really put all this other stuff aside.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in the Grayson McCall play in the NC State Wake Forest game, it wasn't a dead ball play. And obviously, the ball comes loose. Wake Forest returns it. It's a very minor in comparison to Grayson's well-being, but ultimately becomes a really important play in a 4-point game. I don't need the immediate recall or every detail from it, but it did feel like a failure of the system for McCall to clearly have a head injury and there not be losing his helmet in the process, and there not be a penalty on the review. So when something like that happens, does there have to be a penalty called on the field in order to get that flag? And there's really nothing you can do about the continuation of the play because it was a fumble. So just what were some of your takeaways from a play like that, and how perhaps your crew could have gotten it right?
So I'm going to hit, and I got stopped and say
all the Rivers.
We got Rivers. Ron Rivera's here. I told you all, it's a very interesting and strange ACC kickoff that's happening right now.
I'll see you. Sorry about that, guys.
There
You're
goes.
fine.
No, I totally get it. Once I saw Ron look at you, I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are going to chop it up here for a
We
second.
go back a long way.
I know.
In a good
The
way.
46 zone. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm going to go, and I'm being transparent now.
Yeah.
We got the call right on the field. Now, the visual of it was not good.
Correct.
Scary. I was just I was number one scared more than anybody else because I'm watching it time after time again, and I'm trying to see if there's anything we can do. We got the call right on the field, and we went through a review process, and we got it right. Now we go to the rule.
Because he's a defenseless.
Well,
he's not defenseless because he's engaging.
Number one, and there's two aspects to targeting.
Okay.
Number one is we have the defenseless category. He's a runner. That tells us he's not defenseless.
Okay.
We put that category to the side. Now we have to go to what's crown of the helmet. And we don't have the video here, obviously.
Yeah.
But if there's not contact, forcible contact by an opponent to the crown, with the crown of the helmet.
With their crown, putting their head down.
Meaning the crown of the helmet is specific. There's a 6-inch radius at the top of the helmet.
Okay.
And that came, no pun intended, into play later on in the season in another game. So it is clearly defined that it's 6 inches in the top of the helmet, and if the forcible contact is not with that, we do not have a foul. So we might not like the rule.
Yeah.
Now, we'll tell you something positive that came out of there, and we try to think that there's always something positive out of every situation. We, the ACC, crafted a rule and presented to the NCAA Rules Committee to cover some of those situations. Unfortunately, it didn't get enough traction and didn't pass, and we're not going to give up.
Right.
Because of that, in another situation, we had another game, we crafted a rule, and Jim was instrumental in backing that up, but we didn't have enough support in the NCAA. And then the third part of the question is, we can put a flag on the field. That's one of 5 or 6 different situations where replay can create a foul and basically put a flag on the field.
Okay, but didn't meet the definition.
We didn't have the visual evidence which met the definition of targeting in that situation.
Okay.
Now, these are all things that happen in real time for you guys and the decisions that are made. And that when I said you're not going to like talking to us,
No,
I
that's
meant
okay.
the Miami calls because you had a run there in two Miami games in 6 days. You have the Hail Mary, and my number one I want to give you a chance to answer is anytime this happens, Miami at the time is considered a national championship contender, and it goes, oh, here comes the call from Charlotte, and it's like, no, literally, the guy's in Charlotte. He's reviewing it. So, yes, the call is coming from Charlotte.
It is coming from Charlotte.
But not in the nefarious way that you think.
Right.
It's part of the process of trying to get it right.
Yes.
And so, speaking of things I hadn't seen before, the overturned Hail Mary at the Virginia Tech Miami game, you guys took your time with that thing.
5 minutes and 52 seconds. What else?
Not that you were.
It wasn't.
Not that I remember. or
It
anything.
wasn't octolateral levels that I remember at
Not on his watch,
Wade.
but
yeah, but that was not on your
But when
watch.
something like that happens, you know what the perception is. Oh, the ACC, they just want Miami or the team who's a national championship contender to win the game. It just seemed like you guys took a lot of time to try to get it right. It was super complicated. It did feel like the one that you did get right, though, ultimately.
Yes. And last year, we led the country in review time. The ACC was number 1 in the country.
Okay. Is that a good
And
thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
Okay.
Including the 552.
Can skew it a little bit.
skewing the number, yeah.
Including the 552. So we have to be efficient. We look at our broadcast partners and we understand that we have to maintain a certain flow of the game. We do, and we're responsible for that, and ultimately still get the call right. And I understand that call took a lifetime, and believe me, 552 seems like 50-52 when we're sitting there. But we understand it means the game, and those are one and off situations. It doesn't happen normally. Fortunately, we were in a situation where we were a national game. We had X amount of cameras. We could follow
extra.
Correct.
Yeah.
In a normal game, and I'll tell you probably
The
anywhere
octolateral.
from 12 to 14 cameras.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where we had over 30 cameras.
Right.
Obviously not all focused on that, but we had everything we needed from the moment the ball got there, and we saw the ball through the entire process. We put it together through different angles, never losing the ball, because if at any instance we would have lost eyesight of the ball, the ruling on the field stands. Now,
Okay.
we don't have indisputable video evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. We did in this situation only because we had all those cameras in this game, and we got it right.
And to get back to the start of the conversation with transparency, if I remember correctly, There was a statement that was released by the ACC after the fact, but it wasn't necessarily clear after that 5-minute review of what exactly had taken place. So those lessons learned to just kind of get that transparency out there, maybe that call gets viewed differently in the conversation if it was explained that night?
You are right. And we did release a statement later on.
Later on, yeah.
That night, early in the morning, I should say.
Sure.
Early in the morning. But could we, should have we handled it differently? Maybe. Yes, we learned.
Yeah.
And we will do that differently going forward when it's a game impact call at the end like that.
Okay.
Because remember, at this situation, everybody leaves. Some people get upset. Some people celebrate.
Yeah.
And we're off and running.
Yeah.
That's also the classic. We're giving you all kinds of exceptions to the rules today, so I appreciate your patience. But that's also the classic example of anyone who's followed football at all now knows the call on the field, like 90% of the time stands because you got to have this, as you said, the video. You have to have the indisputable evidence.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so that's what made this unusual is you had the touchdown on the field, dramatic play. Again, Miami, this national championship contender, guy who would go on to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Obviously, a huge deal for the conference. And all those circumstances kind of made this, again, an exception to the rule. But I feel like, again, you got it right. So that there has to be something to that, right? Like, I grew up in the newspaper business. As long as it's the truth, you can't sue me. You know what I mean?
That's correct. That's correct.
There's got to be rules somewhere.
Yeah.
So as long as you get it right, I feel like even if it's a middle of the night release, you still got it right.
And at the end of the day, and this is something that I take from my officiating days, when I'm watching tape and I'm going over this process, or we're going over this process, it's still a red team and a blue team. At that moment, the blinders are on, and it's the same way on the field when one official reports a foul to another. I've got holding on 54 red. And the reason for that is there are certain situations that we don't distinguish between offense or defense, and we are trained for that. So even as we're watching this tape, and I forget what colors were worn that night, but let's say it was red and blue. Well, we see the ball, red touched it, red touched it, red touched it, red still, blue still hasn't touched it. We don't say Miami, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
We go through colors and we put that stuff in that mode. But I do understand that we need to get a little better in those unique situations as to when we come out with a statement and try to explain the situation.
Big picture question as we wrap up our interview.
Well,
Again, we appreciate the time.
I mean, Al doesn't want to sit here and go through every controversial call from the 2024 season.
If my dad,
It's great, Giglio. Thank you.
Speaking of Miami, if my dad's listening right now, he'll be like, "Well, you're not going to bring up the Ohio State Miami Fiesta Bowl?" Like, no, Dad, I don't think Al was there for that one. Anyway.
I was a fan for that one, by the way, but go ahead.
No, don't say that.
But we're not going to go there.
Well, we're not I was at a house full of Miami grads with my dad. That was quite the night. What is the state of officiating coming up? Because this is not it's
Who
a fun
wants to sign up for
It's
this,
a fun
right?
job for you. You love this, but it's not something you do for the money. The hours are brutal. You get roasted online. You're traveling nonstop. And we talk about this on a high school level here in North Carolina. And we've heard about how the lack of pay, parents being ridiculous, has caused officiating participation to drop over time. That feeds to you in the pool that you get to work with. So with the up-and-coming officials, what do you see? Is there a lack of experience? Do you need more numbers? Do things need to be changed? How do you see the next generation coming? Are you concerned? What's the next generation coming up?
I'm concerned.
Okay.
And you are right. All those different areas that you mentioned, they're taking a toll on the people getting interested at the lower youth league levels in officiating.
Yeah.
From social media to parents, and people are saying, why am I going to subject myself to this for this?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when we look at a funnel, and I'm going to give you an example, we probably have, let me do some simple math. 10 times 10 is, we probably have 1,000 Division I officials in this country, and then you get to the NFL and you have 120, and below that you have maybe 100,000. So the funnel to get to, let's say, Sunday afternoon really thins out at the top. However, we have to have a huge base at the bottom to be able to train these individuals. For example, in the ACC, we have an alliance. We have our 105 officials, and we have 3 other lower conference divisions that work with us, and we have an alliance. We just had a clinic last week in here with 400 officials. And that's our farm system, for the lack of a better term.
Okay.
But that farm system is not what it was when I got into officiating. And we have to find a better way to get younger people involved and then stay the course. Stay the course so we can make our ranks better.
Al Riveron, we appreciate the time, as always, putting up with our what of this, and this exception, and this and that. As always, we appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. You too, guys. Appreciate you having me here.
Big thanks to our friends at Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. That's myhtr.com. Hey, Teal, if you want that 4-pack, grab a 4-pack. Yeah, have it. That's why we brought it. So take the 4-pack. Excellent. Enjoy. That's why we make the beer. It's called guerrilla marketing, Teal. Thanks, man. Enjoy it. That's David Teal, ACC legend. Just like Hometown Realty, they're legends in the realty game. You go to myhtr.com. You can buy and sell with confidence. There's a lot of inventory right now. A lot of that's related to interest rates. So if there's a house that you're really keen on, go ahead and act on it now. Hometown Realty is going to put you in the best position to buy it, obviously. And then when it comes to financing, because everybody's worried about, well, are they going to go up? Are the rates going to come up? Are they going to go down? I'm going to hold off on buying something because I'm waiting for the rates to come down. If you wait to buy something with the rates coming, with the idea the rates are going to come down in the future, it just means there will be a frenzy for said house when the rates come down. This is why you combine powers. Okay, you do the fusion dance with Hometown Realty and our friends Miller Lending. Check them out online, millerlending.com. You don't have to worry about the interest rate game. You don't have to hedge on this idea that rates are going to come down or rates are going to go up. You use Miller Lending, you don't pay closing costs, and if the rates come down in 6 months, you just refinance again. Don't pay closing costs and save every single time. Tell them we sent you. Call them directly at 919-447-3377, or you can visit millerlending.com/theOG. That's our landing page. You take that thing to close, you're going to get a gift basket from our friends at the Raleigh Wine Shop.
Let me try to incentivize this as well.
Yeah.
Because, listen, June and July, we've had our own little dip here now.
Okay.
So I got a rollback purchase on us for whoever closes.
Oh, really?
In the next person who closes.
All right.
You got to email me.
Yes.
Giglio.joe@gmail.com. But I got rollback for you. Maybe I got an Ovies and Giglio hat for you as well.
So hold up. What you're telling me is you get a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket
and
no closing cost mortgage and some swag.
Yes.
I'm all
your
in.
choice. Your choice of a polo.
Let's freaking go.
Or hoodie. Yeah, either one.
I love it. Let's freaking go. We are at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte for Jim Phillips's press conference. All the coaches running around, all of our favorite insiders. Not here, though, but will be in Raleigh for the Sports Podcast Festival. Week 0, August 23rd, is Stephen Godfrey from Split Zone Duo. He joins us now on the Easter Automotive Group Hotline. Stephen, what's going on, man?
Thank you for having me. How is what looks to be a very hotel ballroom-looking hotel ballroom?
I mean, this is about as ACC as it gets. They shove us into a hotel ball. Actually, this is not a ballroom. It's a breezeway, actually.
Oh, you guys got the fancy hall. That's what it is. Is it outside of the
lobby? No. It's literally a lobby where uptown Charlotte commuters have to cut through.
Oh,
so
geez.
if you're trying to get to your radio area,
glamorous.
It's very. Hey, look, the ACC. Nobody does it like us, man. Nobody does it like us here.
All right.
But really, nobody's going to do it like the Sports Podcast Festival. Go to therialto.com.
Yes.
Get your tickets today. Week 0 is going to be us, Split Zone Duo, and Big Screen Sports. Now, before we get started on football, I have to ask. What's this Will Wade connection, dude? Is this like a Louisiana thing?
No, it's just
are we getting Will Wade to show up to talk a little NC State hoops here? What's going on?
I don't know. I am the recipient. I don't have anything on me currently, but I was the recipient recently of like a care package. So my media bias is showing. My ethics are out the window anyway, but like now they're officially gone because over on Phantom Island, myself and Ryan Nanny, we did a little episode on Mr. Wade and how what a horrible, repugnant, morally questionable human being he is for, what was it again? Oh, that's right, getting athletes paid. What a horrible God! What a criminal of the state. Now, this has been a running bit of mine since back when I worked at SB Nation. I mean, honestly, what the Wade stuff is like, what, 5-6 years old now?
It is. It is.
Okay. I immediately seized upon it because of, and I'll use radio-friendly language, how much it tremendously pissed off the establishment media in our industry. So specifically, I've always referred to, let's call them a certain generational vanguard of hall monitors, of people who thought it was their job as journalists to go run breathlessly to report things to the NCAA, while simultaneously trying to convince people that some kid from below the poverty line getting a couple $1,000s to play athletics in $1 billion industry was some sort of morally horrible act. I also refer to them.
Are you calling out Charles Robinson by name, or am I?
You know what? That's not the first name on the list, but it's a Big Ten, although it's getting smaller. So when I first started doing this, I have to give I have to give credit where credit's due, because I've used this term for like 10 years. But it was actually given to me by Andy Staples, because we had this conversation when I wrote a piece about bagmen in football, which is like 10 years ago now, 11 years ago, something. Yeah. And he called them the merit badgers. When one night we were having a beer, and I was like, and I'm thinking like Badger, like, Wisconsin Badger. And he said, no, like when you're just trying to do all the little P's and Q's in your Boy Scout or Girl Scout troop so you can get another merit badge. Yep. And his line was like, they think that somehow the NCAA enforcement staff is going to send them like a junior detective badge in the mail. And so ever since then, I've had some pretty aggressive conflicts with these people over the years. And so I've just referred to them as a sort of obsequious, group as the merit badgers. When Will Wade happened, however you want to call it, it was a gift from heaven for me, because I mean, you can go back and look at, and I'm not kidding here. You can go back and look at several sexual assault scandals in our industry. You can go back and look at several cover-ups of child abuse, of whatever you want to. No one got as much red ink, so to speak, than our boy Will Wade, the babyface gangster. Absolute public enemy number one. So my personality being what it is, at the height of this, when he was still under investigation for, what did he say, like damn strong offer,
strong ass.
Oh wow, okay, so not even cable language, not even HBO language, like we're still on TNT here, okay. I leapt to his defense. I am a professional football writer by trade. I think I've covered maybe 5 basketball games in my entire life. I can't describe a 2-3 zone, but after that, Will Wade became my favorite person in the world. And it was also, he was at a place like LSU, right? I don't know how familiar you are with Louisiana, but like
I've been there.
Moral flexibility is like stitched onto the state flag.
Sports.
Yeah, so I knew like he was going to be short for that job, but I also knew his winning percentage at sort of like non-traditional basketball schools was never going to keep him out for long. And also, for those of you listening, you may not remember this. This is my man's a trailbreaker. Okay, my man is Pitchfork in terms of like best new music. He's going to tell you what's good 2 years before it happens, because everything he did predated NIL by like a year and a half. It wasn't like he wasn't too ahead of his time. He was like 5 minutes early to the party. So of course he goes to McNeese. Of course he ends up in the ACC of all places, in a power basketball conference. And I'm absolutely in the bag for everything he does. And you want to know why? Because the man is honest. It's not about that I agree with his politics or his ethics. Is that, my God, what a refreshing concept of having an honest human being that is sitting on a podium, who's not going to pull a punch, who, by the way, is like the world's biggest Clemson football fan, and now he's at NC State. Like, I don't think he's really changing that up. Like, I don't think he's suddenly a diehard Wolfpack football fan. And good for him, because you know what? He had a fully formed personality before he got the job. I love everything about it. If we could turn this event into an NC State NIL fundraiser, specifically for basketball, I don't know who I have to do to I don't know what I have to do to make that happen. Telling you, I am a national media writer. I have a column in the Washington Post. Let me do the hand clap, okay? I don't care. I think he's the best thing that's happened to college basketball in 25 years. God forbid, like, he's better than any. He's done more than Mike Krzyzewski has in the last 10 years. Is that going to make people mad?
I mean, Mike's just a talker anyway. I mean, really,
there you go.
Not a lot of them come to fruition. No, Stephen, unfortunately, I can't see your face right now because I don't have the internet.
Okay.
But I think you can see mine.
ACC.
But you committed an unbelievable error there that you don't even know that you committed, and
What's
it's not
that?
nothing to do with NC State. Our friends in South Carolina who wear orange and white and dominate this conference in football, they prefer you. They don't mind when you pee, but you can't Z. They're not Clemson.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm from Georgia. Like,
Okay. You're like,
don't lecture me about pronunciation in football. Yeah, that's great. Welcome back to relevance for the last 15 years. Okay, you're gonna lecture me about how something should be said.
Now wait a second. You are a Georgia fan?
No, but I was born in Georgia. No, I've got a ton of UGA fans in my family and 0 UGA degrees to give you a good idea of where we're at.
I just spent time in Tallahassee with my friends who are all Georgia fans, and I told them they have a 1 year in timeout. When you lose to fucking Notre Dame in the college football playoff, Notre Dame hasn't won anything in the postseason since Lou Holtz was there. You have a 1 year mandatory sit out time. So you can tell all your family that too. They can't talk this year until they win another game.
You know what? We doubted the Catholics for so long. There was an uprising.
So from a guy in Will Wade who lets it all out there to the complete opposite of that in the triangle when it comes to football, Bill Belichick, who's not going to tell you anything. He might. I mean, I'll be
on purpose.
God. We'll see if he even shows up to Radio Row. I really don't know. His press availability on Thursday is going to be a zoo here at ACC Kickoff. Everything
that sucks too, man. Like that sucks. It's not good for the sport. We as college football media are not. I would not say we're the most intelligent as like an assembled press corps, and we will fall for the bait every time. We just lived through the Dion cycle.
Yeah.
And this idea that Bill Belichick should be, there's a weird level of reverence coming in for Bill Belichick. I don't know how, look, you don't even have to dig that far back in the history books. NFL success has never in the history of college football been a qualifier or some sort of, instant certification for success.
Yeah.
It's not like this idea that, do you remember the old Charlie Weiss line? You're talking about Notre Dame, the decided schematic advantage of suddenly this guy who was calling plays to Tom Brady for playoff teams was just going to come in and outthink 133 programs or 120 programs, whatever it was back then. This is this is the first question I've been asked all offseason about North Carolina. They are a mid-level program, okay, with incredibly, how do I say this on the radio?
You don't have to say it on the radio. It's all YouTube podcast. Say what you want.
I call them fucking Notre Dame, Stephen. There we go.
They are. It is the most sort of toxic priority of a country club. This idea that it's weird because it's almost like it's the same thing that plagued Michigan for a long time, but at such a smaller degree because North Carolina has never been relevant in football. They have been one of the definitions of looks good on paper for 20, 30 years in the modern era of college football.
Yeah.
They ran a complete joke of a search on purpose because one or two people had been enchanted by this idea of winning clout, of sort of like the prestige idea of hiring someone. This, by the way, is how LSU ended up with Brian Kelly. This sort of toxic thinking, I think it permeates certain booster groups. And, North Carolina was not, at the time of the search last year, they were not serious about NIL, flat out. They were not serious about trying to find the best college football coach available. They ran a kind of ham-fisted search after breaking. I'm not saying they shouldn't have fired Mac. I think that was overdue. But what I am saying is you basically traded one sort of ceremonial, mouthpiece for another. Belichick could have success at North Carolina. But what is more likely? Belichick and an 11-win team in the near future, or Belichick being rumored for whatever job in the NFL is going to open come December? Like right now, what's the job that's going to open the NFL off the top of your head? Because there's 4 every year, 4.5 on average, right? So
yeah, Giants, Cowboys,
Jaguars, or Giants, or whatever the open job is. And the Jags just hired somebody, but yeah, I just say Jags like a knee-jerk reflex. But like, his desire is not to spend 8 years meticulously building a modern college football dynasty.
No.
Is he doing all this to park it for his son to get a job?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 sons. That's a lot of work. Man, like, by the way, how's that look for Steve Belichick? My God. It didn't even work for Steve Spurrier Jr. Like this is one of the most counterintuitive moves in college football. I think he is going to win more on average than Mac Brown, but the coverage and the sort of breathless devotion that these guys have in the media towards Bill Belichick coming into college. Guys, it doesn't track. Just look at the football part of this. This is an 8-win team.
Where's the reverence coming from? Because here's the
NFL
thing.
media.
That's the key part. This is the thing that matters to me. NFL media is going to talk about Bill Belichick because it's good for NFL conversations and his name being out there, even though it's been, to me, my opinion, it's been made abundantly clear to Bill Belichick that the NFL does not want him anymore. That's why he's in North Carolina to begin with. Now, let's strip out our friend Jonathan Jones and the reporting that comes along with Bill Belichick. Let's strip out Mike Florio and his obsession, our guy, Pablo Torre, and the Jordan Hudson beat and all that kind of. Let's strip all that away. Let's talk about this from a college football perspective. You are extremely more plugged into the national conversation than me and Joe. We're focused here on North Carolina. I listen to you guys. I listen to Cover 3. I will read and consume a lot of national college football stuff. This idea that North Carolina was going to get a bump from Bill Belichick might have lasted a month, 2 months. There is zero talk about North Carolina on a national level right now when we're in the middle of talking season.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Is it because the team's not good? The schedule's easy, but what about this team? What do we know about this team?
I mean, it's an 8-win team with, I think it's an 8-win ceiling and a 6-win floor, which is North Carolina football. What has changed? I like the Lopez kid that transferred at quarterback from South Al. We don't have enough. One of the things I say a lot, because we're in such a weird era of transition, there's so many moving parts of the fundamental way we evaluate college football, like the football part, that has changed so much. It's hard to say, okay, well, you had a kid who played really well, probably above his range at South Alabama. I don't know how that translates to North Carolina's schedule. By the way, they're installing a new offense. And if it's not him, Max Johnson, I think he was a serviceable middle-of-the-road quarterback in the SEC.
I don't even know if
that's fine.
I don't even know if Max Johnson's at 100% after a catastrophic leg injury.
Right. Okay. So, but there's nothing in here that really blows me away. I think defensively you will notice a sort of step up because that's their expertise. I do think they did well with some of the transfers that they brought in for this immediate cycle. In other words, kids who were not there in the previous era who they've gone about in the short term. Long-term recruiting is still a huge question in terms of bringing in high school kids and being a development program, how they're going to balance all this, how aggressive they're going to be in the portal. It's funny because in this league, it's essentially, I'm thinking about the real ACC, just the ACC that most people can remember. It's Clemson and then everybody else when it comes to high school development, and then you're sort of gambling on every year or two. Florida State's a great cautionary tale on banking things on 1-year transfers. It worked really well 1 year, and then they went out and set the exact same mode of how we're gonna make another championship roster. Of course, it imploded on them, and now they're even worse for it in high school recruiting. This idea that he's going to bring in a bunch of NFL guys and suddenly solve for X, I'm highly critical of. I'm highly critical. So I think that this is a 6 to 8 win team. But by the way, guys, what happens when he doesn't? He's not going to have 150 hours a week with players. This isn't the NFL. This idea of drilling down into guys. One of the things I say a lot when I do media is I don't think the average person realizes how little time a football player spends with a coach from Monday until Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's not that much. And compared to the NFL, it's infinitesimal because, at least in theory, this is still amateur athletics, right? You still have other things you're doing in your day. Most NFL guys really, really struggle with that. When they come back to college, a Lovie Smith, for instance, going to Illinois. Lovie Smith was a good NFL coach who went to an NFC championship, right? No, sorry, went to a Super Bowl. Could not really factor in the limited amount of time that you get at this level. It's really hard. So this idea of Belichick being some sort of cure-all, again, to go back to college football media, I think we'll fall for anything right now. And it just sucks that he's getting as much mind share as he can.
What college football media falls for is a personality, somebody who's going to ruffle some feathers. Deion's a force of nature. He is one of one. College football is not going to gravitate to somebody who just is upward onto Cincinnati.
I think college football media guys that I know right now, and maybe it's because of the state of the media industry, get so happy when the outside world is paying attention to college football for a second.
That's fair.
They'll flog anything because Deion was yes, Dion on a podium, so much more engaging, right? You're going to get something incredibly asinine most of the time, but at least you're going to get something, right? If you're fishing, something's going to come in the boat. Belichick is, I don't know how this would happen. I don't know if it's the girlfriend dynamic of her running his comms or whatever, but I don't think he's going to be that stoic, hold the line nonsense, like the weekly Patriots press conference that he's so famous for. We're on to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to modify that because the difference is in the NFL, you can be the world's biggest asshole in front of the media, and it's not going to affect your roster. In college, the reason why you talk to the press is to proselytize to current and future players. That's it. That's the only reason. Everything Nick Saban ever said that was emotional in any nature was to either speak directly to his team through the media or talk to recruits. So if Belichick wants to go up there and just be a flippant dick, it's going to affect him long term because 17-year-olds are not going to respond to that. Okay? A 5-year veteran in the NFL who's looking for a guaranteed contract and a way to finish out his career and he wants a steady environment, great. There's a world of difference between the two, though.
So to your point, Stephen, I'll argue your point and then I'll give you a retort. Lane Kiffin had to fire his own father because his defense didn't translate from the NFL to college football. So I hear what you're saying in that this idea that people in the NFL are just going to like waltz into college football and make something work. Think about that. The dude had to fire his own fucking dad. Okay. Yeah. I would not have the wherewithal to fire my dad. I'll just tell you, number one. Number two, now I would say, man, we could slander Belichick on this program, but Lovie Smith, wow, that fucking hurts, man. The dude did win the thing 6 times. I don't want Lovie Smith. He's a little bit better than Lovie Smith, and he's a little bit better than his caddy, Charlie Weiss, as well. So
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, so who's the best success story? Like, who's the guy that you model this after?
Oh, I think in his brain, he sees Bill Walsh, came back, won 10 games that first year.
Guys,
I think that's what he's looking at.
Yeah.
College football is not. College football is not the game that Bill.
No, absolutely not. And he's not the coach that Bill Walsh was. Now, when you say what's different, the schedule in the ACC, I think you are right. If you're talking about the Big Ten, you're talking about the SEC.
Yeah,
probably a 4 or a 5-win team.
Mm-hmm.
In the ACC, and I had forgotten this, Syracuse won 10 football games last year. Syracuse. With a just add water, sprinkle new coach. Now, Fran Brown has a real personality, so there's a differentiator there.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Carolina's schedule is set up for them to win 10 football games this year. It really is. And I think, to your point about defensively, I think Carolina has been horseshit on defense in the last 15 years. I have a piece of paper that I left in the
And they've
studio.
tried everything.
And they've tried everything.
Gene Chizik twice.
I think they're going to be much better on defense. I also think they're not going to beat themselves. And I think that's kind of a hallmark, other than the time our guy Jacoby Myers threw a lateral on the last play of a tied game. Most Bill Belichick teams don't beat themselves. He's famous for saying, let the other team lose the game. You don't have to win the game.
He has an almost like, even for the ACC, a sort of bizarrely easy schedule because it's not so much the helmets on the schedule as it is the circumstances around some of these programs.
Yes.
So you're in a stripped down rebuild situation with Wake Forest. Fran Brown and Syracuse, I really like. I'm buying long term on him raising the median at Syracuse, but they are going to be less talented in the interim in 25. Virginia,
and they have a murderous schedule. Syracuse has a murderous schedule this year.
Virginia's a mess. Stanford is open technically. That's an interim situation, and they have a horrible roster. UCF is starting over under Frost, and the roster is not going to reflect any kind of talent this year. Charlotte has a first-year head coach. Not that that was going to be a concern for them either. Other than Duke and like Clemson in conference play, and then NC State, I think what it comes down to, and it's set up perfectly for big media narrative, they're not going to beat Clemson. It's a swing game to open, and if they come out of the TCU game with a win, they're going to be able to sort of stay in the zeitgeist by virtue of this schedule until I think they do lose back-to-backs, honestly. I think to end the season, I think Duke and North Carolina State right now, I would like better in that situation. Now, it's hard to prognosticate that because you're talking about a game at the end of November. and also like this is maybe where we can transition into talking about North Carolina State. It's always a volatile program, but that's also I think it's incredibly hard to prognosticate NC State football specifically ever. But yes, right now I like the Wolfpack a skosh more in a game that hasn't been played, for the entire season.
There's a law to be applied,
Yeah, I was
Steven.
gonna say.
And they ain't talking about State, and any year you ain't talking about State, that's when you should like.
Yeah. So where are we in this? Where are we in this? Because I'll tell you from a national perspective.
Are you familiar with the law of the wolf?
Yes, but on a national perspective, I think there's been a little bit of growing indifference. I think as the Doran era has sort of marched on, I think people are tired of buying high and losing or buying low. Basically that perpetual cycle. Yeah. And I think it's a program that a lot of people nationally just kind of shrug at. We know talent comes out of this program. We know the history of draft picks and all that kind of stuff. We get that, but damned if this is not one of the hardest programs to nail down in the history of the modern game.
And it always will be. I do think it's kind of funny that people have finally gotten hip to a point that Bomani Jones made to me 15 years ago, that Texas A&M is just NC State with money. That's been making the social media rounds these days. Are pretty much identical given the differences in budget and everything else in the SEC. But specific to NC State, and NC State was the subject of the most recent Phantom Island episode. Alec Lauer was on it. Our guy James Curl was on it. I somehow ended up on it. Ryan did a really, really good job with it. And kind of trying to explain the NC State-ness of all things football. I think to double down on Giglio's Law of the Wolf, NC State's going to have a surprising season because they've got a double whammy at NC State. You got Bill Belichick up the way, so all the focus is up there. They're coming off a very off season last year, uncharacteristic to Dave Doran with a defense that was lagging behind and things like that. But
that Tennessee loss was classic. What Steven's talking about.
Yes,
people bought in. Grayson McCall. You have all this, and then it's like you don't even fucking show up for the game.
And then on top of that, Will Wade is now taking all your money too.
Yeah.
So
that's more of the real aspect of this.
That's another thing where people have started to shoulder shrug on Dave Doran. So if we could write the script for Dave, he will have an absolute Law of the Wolf season where he will surprise, get to a decent bowl, and most importantly, close out with a win. Because it has to start with ECU. Now, if they lose to ECU, that derails the entire season. But they'll avenge the Military Bowl loss. There won't be any fights. I'm assuming.
Sure.
I'm assuming. And then he closes out the year with a win against Bill Belichick, and then he walks away.
I do think there is that element in play this year.
Right.
I do.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know how you're going to top that as the NC State coach. You beat Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl champion.
Well, we did help him win both of those games on a missed kick 3 years ago.
This is true too.
So he's walking away now. This is what I'm hearing.
He's going to walk away.
We are convinced, yes.
First report. Okay. Walking away. Wow. All right. Well, that would change the paradigm dramatically then.
So with NC State specifically, we know their defense is still a question mark, not necessarily on offense. And this gets back to coaches changing, coaches evolving. Do you envision Dave Doran finally looking at what he has offensively and goes, you know what? I'm going to let my boys cook. Let's go out and win these games 63-55.
If that happens, it's not gonna be willingly.
He has no choice.
Dave tied down and somebody takes away his binder with the pregame.
What's funny is, what if they get into a little bit of trouble early on? In not so much losing a game, but I'm saying situationally. If you're having
gets hurt, quarterback gets area, quarterback holds out. I mean, we've seen it all. We have seen it all.
Just like a bad 2 or 3 defensive drives for in the ECU game, for instance, or Virginia or something like that. And I think eventually you just begrudgingly open it up to something that's way more wide open. I mean, look, you've got a returning quarterback. We were talking about this before we went on the air. Like, how many programs in the ACC have a returning quarterback?
Right.
Like 4.
That is pretty good.
That is good.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So the marker for me is, especially at this phase in Doran's career, defensive guy, offensive guy, I think that's beside the point. Is, are you developing this kid? Is this like, can we do a check-in in like mid-October, and provided there's health and provided the offensive line is functional, are you seeing sort of next step evolution from a kid like Bailey? That's the bigger question, I think. Again, it's such a funhouse mirror of a program to talk about because there's no way to mark trajectory at NC State. So I don't know, like, Normally, you know, hey, this program's headed here, this program's adjusting, this program's rebuilding. This program is just dice on like it's a craps table every single year. So I don't even know, is there a referendum on Dave when it's impossible to mark what direction this program is going in a long-term vantage point? I don't know. I mean, I'm always comfortable saying, hey, I know a lot about this sport, but I don't know this specifically. And you know, outside of the area, outside of Raleigh and North Carolina State fandom, I think a lot of the industry just kind of looks at that situation and just kind of tilts their, you know, like when you tell a dog to do something, like it's just like, okay, like what? Like, I guess he's going to be there forever, or they're going to fire him and then hire another guy that goes like 4.7, 9.2, 4.3, 9. Like,
I think you said it, and it illustrates why Joe and I believe that he will walk away. Can you not see CJ Bailey developing and going to play with his buddy at Ohio State next year?
Right.
Or playing for Miami next year? You're like, can't you see that? I could see that. I mean, he's already mad about Brandon Cisse. I think Brandon Cisse was like a real like stone in the road there for him. Like, holy shit, man. If I can't even keep a 3-star guy who nobody wanted, like, what am I doing? Right. That's the equivalent of him losing Bradley Chubb after Bradley Chubb's freshman year. You know what I mean?
He always talks about how he'd rather be fly fishing anyway.
He
So
does.
now he can do it all the time.
Bait shop.
I'm sorry, bait shop.
I can't wait to be working at a bait shop.
he had this like,
You do, Giglio.
There's your phantom. There's your next Phantom Island when he retires and he opens a bait shop somewhere in Montana. And I was just
No. It'll be at the lake house he has.
At the lake house?
Him and the life coach live at the same
that's
lake.
right. They live at the same lake. And then you can go visit. You can do a little sit down.
Yep.
Talk about best lures.
I like it.
Stephen Godfrey, Split Zone Duo. Check them out. It's a fantastic podcast, and they're going to be here for the Sports Podcast Festival. Alex Kirshner, Richard Johnson. Who knows? Maybe Will Wade shows up. Fingers crossed. And
I look, it's an open invitation. Let's raise money for Wolfpack NIL, because I feel like that would piss off the most amount of people, which has always been a good career North Star for me.
Stephen, appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys.
Big thanks to our friends at Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out online, wh.lawyer. We thank them for helping us hang out last week with OG Light.
At Shady's, downtown Garner. They drove that next day to Buffalo.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I checked in with Josh. They're fine. They made it. But that is not around the corner.
No, it's not. I'm actually
Charlotte's family.
I'm actually contemplating doing a drive to Buffalo in February for a hockey tournament.
Are you going to shuffle off to Buffalo?
Yes.
Maybe even trucking?
I'm going to be space trucking up to Buffalo with the fat riffs.
Is this for hockey?
Yeah, it's for hockey.
For the youth hockey?
Yeah, the youth hockey up in Buffalo in February.
There is not quite anything in this world like a February trip.
It's an outdoor thing.
Beautiful Buffalo.
Riverworks, outdoor hockey.
Wow.
I hope the kids get lake effect snow dumping on them while they try to play. So big thanks to
bad. That's bad team management, by the way. Trip to Buffalo. Why? Yikes.
Going to Salt Lake City too in January.
Yeah, that seems like maybe fun, but
Buffalo's been on the list of places I've been wanting to go for hockey.
Okay.
So we'll see. Look, it can't be any worse than what happened in March to me back in like 2006 or whatever it was when VCU knocked Duke out at the NCAA tournament.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah.
And I got snowed in. So it was me and Frank DeCenzo of the Durham Herald Sun drinking PBRs.
Nice.
What a time. Anyway, Whitaker and Hamer, check them out online, wh.lawyer. So I am in full detox mode after going on vacation and eating 3 straight days of poutine in Canada. So 3 straight. I think I had it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 straight days, poutine, including poutine from a large American burger joint that happens to have spots in Canada. So
that's kind of cool, though.
As far as the detox is concerned, this is where Happy and Hail comes through. Now, look, you're making it sound like I'm punishing myself when it comes to that. No. It's just reminding myself, wait a minute, you can eat better. You can eat heartier. You can go to Happy and Hail. So go to Happy and Hail, check out the app, download the app, use our promo code OG25 to save 25% off your first order. We're at ACC Kickoff, but that's secondary because Bryce Young cooking season is upon us. Kyle
Yes.
Bailey, WFNZ, sitting down with us here in Charlotte. What's up, man? Camp week is here.
Yeah, I just got off a plane from the backwoods of New England.
Yeah.
I've been on vacation with the fam.
Oh, I
and-
thought you were tracking down Jordan Hudson.
No, I was not. I was
Okay.
eating lobster all week and sitting by the lake. Shout out Winnipesaukee and the folks in northern New England. But I had to fly back so that I could be here in time for ACC kickoff this morning. Then I got Panthers training camp availability at noon. Then I've got to go talk to the Hornets head coach because we just won the Summer League title, baby.
Hey, if I go up to whatever it's called now, the arena, can I get Summer League championship swag?
We are working on that.
Dude, how do you not have the shirts printed ready to go right now?
In my defense, again, vacation. I have not been a part of
not
anything.
You. I'm talking about the Hornets. The
Well, they're
Hornets
too-
haven't done anything. They
That's-
haven't even won playoff games. They finally win something of note,
Yeah.
a professional championship.
In their defense, they're probably a bit busy designing Con Knipple statue outside
enough.
the stadium
Fair
and planning the parade route here on Trade and Tryon. So
Fair enough.
I'm
Fair
sure
enough.
the T-shirts will be coming forthwith.
All right. On a serious note, as we get into the re-entry of NFL football with the opening of camp, with July 4th, it's the unofficial start to the NFL season. It starts the lists.
Sure,
Everybody's
right.
got their power rankings. Here are your best QBs. Here's your tiers and all that kind of stuff. What I found interesting, and maybe I have a wrong read on this here in Charlotte, but from where I'm at, I felt like all the optimism at the end of last year started getting tempered once again once the lists started coming out.
Sure.
Where does Bryce rank with QBs? What do his weapons look like? All that kind of stuff. And you're seeing it's kind of paltry when it comes to the Panthers. Has that put any sort of cold water on what we saw at the end of last season and how people are hyped about this season?
No, because they haven't proven anything. They still went 5-12 last year. Like
Yeah.
by the time they really started to play better, and more specifically, Bryce and the offense started to come alive, most of the national audience had completely ignored them and tuned them out because they were a non-factor.
Yeah.
So if you were watching, Bryce against the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Buccaneers down the stretch, you were probably a Panthers fan or just a diehard with nothing else to watch. And,
Right.
but otherwise you were paying attention to the contenders. You were paying attention to the teams that would be playing postseason football. And I mean, listen, the NFL's not that big. The stories of Bryce's resurrection were out there if you wanted to take that content in, but they still went 5-12. It was still the worst defense in the history of the league in terms of points allowed, and there's a lot of work to be done there. So, I mean, you have people that believe this team can really make noise this year, but you have most other people who don't pay attention to the Carolina Panthers who are saying, yeah, they're 5-12 and Bryce hasn't proven anything yet, so we're going to pick them to finish last again. So that is their plight right now. They have to go out and change their own narrative, and until they do that, it doesn't matter.
Are you a movie guy?
Do I like movies?
Do you consume a lot of movies? Do you get into the heroes arcs and the tropes and things like that?
I used to. Now, if you're asking me if I'm like a Marvel DC guy, that's not my bag.
Okay.
My
That's
producer,
fine.
Evan Smoke Ludwig, he keeps me abreast on all of that. That is his jam.
So I want you to float this to Smoke today.
You got it.
Later on today. We're here at ACC Kickoff, and it's like this bizarre week of Panthers coaches present and past.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
So you've got Ron Rivera, who's the general manager with Cal.
It's coming on with me today.
He'll be here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 10-year anniversary stuff from 2015, which it shows you how desperate we are in this town for positive football news, that we're celebrating a team that gagged it in the Super Bowl. But that's another story altogether. Then you've got Frank Reich, who's the coach at Stanford right now. And then Dave Canales is right there. I feel like you're putting all these things together. I mean, where's John Fox when you need him, right?
Yeah.
So you put all these things together. I feel
retirement.
this is like the point where everybody comes together, everybody nods, they acknowledges how things have been, and now it's ready to go to the future. That seems like a movie to me. Seems like success is on the way.
No, I like that. No,
Right
I do.
there?
I like that as the
Float that
beginning.
to Smoke.
I do. I like that as the beginning of a story arc. Everyone converging, to kick off a new future.
Yes.
And the Frank Reich thing is fascinating. We were talking about this last week, like in advance of this event, like, what interviews are we lining up? Who are we going to talk to? And I told my guys, I said, Frank is one of the nicest people I've met in this business. He truly is. I told a story on the air several weeks back about the day that I found out I was having my third child in 3 years. I had a meeting with Frank Reich that day in his office, and I had gotten the phone call from my wife less than an hour prior to that meeting that she was with child again. And I was sweating and kind of out of it walking into Frank's office, and Frank, asked me if I was okay, and I kind of blurted out what was going on. And he was.
Kids in 3 years is a lot.
It's
man.
a lot, right? So I will always have that moment with
Settle
Frank
down,
Reich
Kyle.
on the right. So I want to be clear. I think a lot of Frank Reich as a person, but my first thought was, there's no way in hell they're putting Frank on with me in Charlotte. For ACC Kickoff, because why would he want to revisit the 11 games that he was the head coach here? But it will forever go down as one of the strangest things I've ever been a part of, in covering a football team. And now that he's at Stanford and it's only temporary, and he insists it's only temporary.
It's only temporary,
yeah,
right.
but it's just the whole thing is crazy. And you and I have been coming to these events, be it here, the Weston, the Grandover, Pinehurst, for a long, long time. And the fact that we're sitting here in 2025 talking about Ron Rivera and Frank Reich and names like that being here is just beyond bizarre.
The funniest thing is, in any other year, that would be the storyline.
Yes.
That would be the storyline. Panthers coaches, president, and past. But really, the storyline is Bill Belichick. And all these guys are going to be getting asked questions about Bill Belichick. Frank Reich can't live in peace. He's going to be asked questions about, you got to match up, all that kind of stuff. Ron Rivera, I'm sure, with are you as a general manager at a university just the latest example of how everything has changed in college athletics? And obviously, Bill Belichick being the head coach at North Carolina is exactly it. The funny thing is, now that we've approached the start of the football season, people have to talk about North Carolina's team as is. What is it?
Sure.
Nobody knows.
Don't have a clue.
Everybody's just kind of, he's a genius coach. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I was paying attention without Tom Brady. So unless Gio Lopez is Tom Brady, I think there are legitimate questions about what the season's going to be.
For sure. And I think you'd agree with this. Like, to me, one of the most intriguing things about it all is Bill Belichick has a dual threat quarterback to play with, right? We've never seen that before, unless you count Tim Tebow's short stint up there. So, which we don't, of course.
You also had Cam's short
stint.
stint.
You had Cam's short stint too, no doubt. But we've never seen it. I do think that Bill will probably out-coach half the coaches on his schedule, and so I believe they win 8 games. I don't think that's a bold take by any stretch of the imagination. But then again, I don't know. I was talking about, because I'm a Virginia Tech guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to some of my brethren earlier. I don't know I know less about what to expect from most of these teams than I ever have.
Well, look at your rival, Virginia. Most people are looking at them based on schedule, just like with North Carolina, based on schedule.
Yes.
You would expect them to have a good season.
Sure.
But somebody's going to come out of nowhere and surprise you.
A team that's got an over-under win total of 8.5 is going to win 3 games. It's going to happen. So that is the nature of the portal and the movement and what we do and don't know more so than ever. So I'm excited for it. It's just a different kind of excitement than it was talking about these things 4 years ago.
We'll close on this. Are you excited about the Panthers?
I am. Now,
Why?
I also do it for a living.
No. But let's be real. You have gone into seasons going, damn, man. We're doing this again.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
No, I actually, if you think about this last year, and I know you watched these games too, it became apparent to me by about week 10, week 11. Dave Canales is a good offensive coach.
Yes.
He was a first-year head coach calling plays. That doesn't work out for a lot of guys. If you recall, Nick Sirianni, who just won the Super Bowl, had to give up play calling duties in his first year. I still remain shocked that we didn't end up making it a bigger deal that a guy who they took a risk on as their head coach successfully called plays offensively throughout the year, and no one was calling for him to give it up. And that's because by about week 11, week 12, we're watching it. Dave's offense schemes guys open. Dave's offense is innovative and creative, and now he's got a quarterback who's confident enough to run it. And now those two guys have had an entire offseason together with additional weaponry added to the offense and the entire offensive line coming back. That I don't know if the defense goes from 32nd to 16th or not. Maybe it's 32nd to 27th.
Yeah.
But I do think offensively they will be able to compete and stay in games every single week.
To that point, this is what we'll actually close on.
Okay.
Looking back on it, did you ever really get the sense or reevaluate that maybe Dave Canales saw what he had in Bryce Young initially and wasn't a fan? And therefore, the way things went in terms of play calling, how things opened up with Andy Dalton, the reluctance to go back to Bryce Young in the first place had it not been for a car accident.
Sure.
That it didn't look like a guy who had all the confidence in the world in the QB he inherited, and he was ready to go in a different direction as the season progressed until circumstances changed. Do you think that's a valid opinion?
I don't think that he disliked Bryce. I don't think that he campaigns as hard for this job, sells them on, his ability to do this job as hard as he does if he doesn't think that he can work with Bryce.
Yeah.
And do I think his faith was shaken in Bryce? Absolutely. I do. But his job was not to give up. His job was to coach him up. His job was to get him ready behind the scenes. And you give most of the credit to Bryce for not falling apart mentally and, continuing to be a great teammate. So I think his faith was shaken. And I think it was Bryce that really turned things around and changed his mind ultimately. I think Dave would have moved on if he had to, but I think he's glad he didn't have to.
Yeah, undersold in all this is that Bryce Young deserves a lot of credit for not having his entire confidence implode on him and he's not salvageable.
Correct.
And then he actually goes out there and does the thing and looks a little bit like Bama Bryce. Hopefully they get that right out of the gate, because the last thing I want to do is tune into WFNZ in the afternoon on a Monday when he regresses or if he regresses and everybody's ready to go off in a different direction. Yeah, we saw this. We just saw this before. It was a flash in the pan. I really hope that's not the case.
Well, last thing on that, I would remind people, because I know you have a lot of Panthers fans in your listening or your viewing audience too. Like, it's not always linear. I know people hate that phrase, but remember, Dan Campbell, his second year in Detroit, started like 1-6.
Yeah.
So it's not always, there won't always be a constant stream of success building on success, not in the NFL.
Kyle Bailey, WFNZ. Hey, man, good catching up, and I appreciate you saying yes when I said, hey, come sit down.
Well, didn't really feel like I had an option, but I'll always do it for you.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Have I told you that my kids have claimed the filet mignon burger from Butcher's Market is the best burger they've ever had?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a reminder that they have varying types
so
of cuts.
Adventurous when you go to the Butcher's Market. I'm so plain and ordinary. I got the signature chicken.
Yeah.
On Friday. Oh, I love the potato skin.
Those are good.
But
not the twice baked. You're talking the skins.
I did not know that they made twice baked.
Dude, the twice baked
They're the same price.
They're hosses.
And they were phenomenal.
Good.
Phenomenal. So I thought of you. I tried something new.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it tremendously.
Okay, good. And
so you can do the same thing. Go hit up your local Butcher's Market. And, yeah, the one on the home base, Millbrook and Six Forks? No, Millbrook and Falls on News.
Millbrook and Falls.
Has OG Light.
They have OG Light there, and they also have OG Light at the Lake Boone location as well. Both. They should be getting it at the Lake Boone location as well. So, again, go check out the butchersmarkets.com. Also, big thanks to Two Roosters. They put our pictures out on social media. People are riding for the flavor.
They are, and the youths are. The youths in the neighborhood, the Maloofs and the Savills.
Awesome.
Both younger. I'm talking youths here. They were like, yeah, kids liked it. And I was like, well, that was our goal. See, every once in a while, we agree on something, and this is one of those things we agreed on. That Peanut butter.
Undefeated.
What a win.
Undefeated.
And Jessica got the cake for the N&O party today.
So is it too late to get the cake?
You got to order it. So
oh wait, because my dad's birthday is on Friday.
If he likes it, I think he does like the flavor.
Yeah.
Then you gotta you can text Jared or I can text Jared.
I texted Jared. I got to follow up on that.
Okay.
I got to order it.
You do have to order it.
I just need it by Friday. I can get it by Friday, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Anyway, I'll follow up with Jared. So yeah, go get the cake because you're running out of time. It's July 22nd as of this recording. The flavor goes away at the end of the month. So go to Two Roosters.
I do have good news for you people though.
What's that?
Peanut butter cookie, the OG of our ding 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 a ding ding.
Totally different flavor, man.
Will be a guest flavor next month.
Totally different flavor. Not the same thing, man. Not the same thing. Sitting down with us at ACC Kickoff on the Heister Automotive Group microphone is Tom Lubinbill from ESPN, the ACC Network. Tom, what's going on?
I'm not a whole lot other than kicking everything off.
I have to commend you.
Tom looks amazing.
I don't think Tom gets enough credit for being the QB coach for Tommy Maddox, the one and only XFL
champion and MVP too.
He was the MVP.
Yeah, he was.
Right?
And the next year, he was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
You get credit for that, right?
Yeah,
You're
well,
his QB
I don't know.
coach.
You're the only one who seems to remember.
It's funny. This is kind of like my weird way of walking you into the iterations of football that you've experienced in your career, both playing as a coach, and then now what we have in college football today.
Yeah.
Just in the last 5 years of what we've seen. It's weird to me to see Frank Reich, former Panthers coach, Ron Rivera, former Panthers coach, Andrew Luck walking around.
Yeah.
Skinny Andrew Luck.
This is not the college football I grew up with. This is a completely different animal now. So how do you look at it?
Well, it is. I mean, listen, what we've essentially moved into is complete and utter free agency with no collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
No rules, no guidelines, no structure. It's the wild, wild west. And everybody's trying to figure out how to manage it. Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes that difficult is, unlike the NFL, where everybody's got equal resources, nothing is equal in college football, right? Kansas is never going to be Ohio State, right? Wake Forest is never going to be SC. And yet we're expecting them all to compete on a level playing field, and it's so challenging. And until we get that under wraps, until we can find a way to get things manageable so that the schools and the coaches at least know who's on their team, right? Know who they're going into the summer with, know who they're going into the fall with, that we're going to continue to have this transactional nature of a sport that's going to thin the herd, and it's going to create instability throughout the sport.
How do you keep up with some of these? Like, who's your week 0 or week 1 game? Like, I was sent a ballot to vote. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because it's a complete and total guess. I mean, anyone could do a guess. Like, I feel like I used to be able to watch these, not to sound old, watch these teams, know who's coming back, have a good idea of who's going to be good. I'm not going to vote because it's truly just a guess. I mean, it's
absolutely a guess.
I'm sure if you have Carolina at some point, you'll watch a bunch of Gio Lopez at South Alabama, stuff like that. But it's really hard.
It's made it really challenging because I think if you look at it from the team perspective, right? Every team wants to have their foundational pillars, their principles, their culture, their locker room. Well, how are you supposed to do that with a turnstile that's coming around twice a year that sees 30, 40, 45 players go in and out, and you're supposed to maintain some sort of structure, team chemistry, and foundation? I think that's darn near impossible, and it's why you see teams go into a season and they have these great expectations, and then they fail to meet them. Yeah. Because what if you paid the wrong guys, right? I remember Nick Saban last year in Ireland on his first game day show, and they were talking about that Ohio State roster. And he said, listen, guys, you can pay all the money you want, but if you pay the wrong ones, you're SOL. And it's true. And in that instance, Ohio State happened to pay the right ones. But it's a crapshoot because of what you just said right there. There's no way of knowing. It used to be an educated guess. Now it's throw it up against the wall, see what sticks. Who gets healthy, who hit on a quarterback, who signed the wrong guys, not players, but people that can destroy a locker room. I mean, so you can sit there and look at the plus side of it with Ohio State last year and look at the negative side of it with Florida State last year.
And I would argue Ohio State won the national championship because they had the best receiver in the country, who was a freshman.
Well, they
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean,
but then
he was the difference maker.
He was the difference maker, but you look at who they brought in at running back. They brought in Caleb Downs from Alabama, who was an absolute difference maker.
Speaking my language now.
There you go. Right. So, and
here in Charlotte, the home of Caleb Downs.
Right. But there's common denominators in those guys that they brought in, and they were all players that had a high level of production at the place they were at before. Right. That's the challenge in all of this is how do I get the right person, the right guy, but somebody who's played 35 games. That's not easy to do.
There's only one school who's got any kind of continuity, and that's Clemson.
Yep.
And obviously they have a lot of high hopes for this season. They always have high hopes, but I like to call Clemson the last couple of years ACC good. Do you think they have a chance this year to be a little bit more than that, get back in that national conversation where they're not just getting to the playoff, they're not just maybe winning an ACC, rather they're getting back to that perch of being able to beat an Alabama, beat an Ohio State, who they regularly beat in the playoff?
Yeah, I do. I think that they're back to having that type of roster. I think the one thing, and you talk about stability with and listen, Dabo's taken a lot of heat because he hasn't just gone and brought in 20 guys every year in this and that, but you got to understand with that place, their retention has been off the charts. So they're not losing a lot of the guys that every other teams are losing, where you're forced to go out and bring guys in. And so I think the continuity, the stability, the fact that they're playing with a ton of upperclassmen that have all been within the program, you finally get the quarterback position right. And really, at the end of the day, the reason why Clemson went from being national good to ACC good is because they finally missed on a quarterback.
Yeah.
Remember, they went on that run starting with Taj Boyd all the way through, even Kelly Bryant.
Yeah,
right?
Well, you mentioned Kelly Bryant. They had the luxury of moving Kelly Bryant out because they had another guy who could get him to a national championship.
And then they finally missed.
Yeah.
And when you miss at that position, it affects everything. And so, getting back to that standard under center, the fact that they And I give Dabo a lot of credit in this regard. With all the pressure to go out and deviate from his path of what brought them to this level, he never did it. And as a result, we're looking at this team and talking about this team because of that.
They've been consistent, to Joe's point. They've been ACC.
And it's hard to do.
And it is, but and we can kind of close on this nationally. It's been an interesting offseason in which I'll just call it out for what it is. The SEC seems to at least be attempting to rewire how we talk about success. When they go out and outwardly say, we're too focused on the whole not losing thing. The last time I checked, that was the point.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty of sports. There's a winner and a loser. There's no really arguing about this kind of stuff. And I feel like when you study for games, when you look outside, when you talk to other coaches, you talk to administrators and whatnot, is there anything that we can do to say, whoa, guys, maybe you're a little too over your skis in how we're talking about things when it comes to the national college football scene, getting to the college football playoff? Is it too far gone for that? Can we bring it back where we focus on, hey, who won?
Right.
Like, who's winning? The thing that matters ultimately.
Well, the problem is we've created a little bit of a participation trophy atmosphere by expanding to 12 teams.
Fair.
Right? And so it's hard. I think it's hard to pull back from that. And now we have discussions about potentially going, to 16. So, to me, winning and losing is so important in this sport. But if you look at all of these marquee week 1 matchups, the loser's not out of the college football playoff.
Which is why you're seeing more of those.
Where are the stakes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if that playoff's at 4, that first game's a whole different mindset.
But you don't
right?
get it. You don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't play them.
And so I think the other thing, too, is I always look at a schedule. Everybody's schedules differently. But a schedule, to me, is done in 3 ways. Who you play, where you play, and when you play. Meaning that if you catch somebody early that hasn't become what they're going to in Week 11, that's different than having to play them in Week 11. I mean, I look at that Ohio State team in 2014 at home, loses to Virginia Tech, gets waxed. The next week, Virginia Tech loses to East Carolina at home, and the end of the season, Ohio State playing for the national championship.
Right.
But if Virginia Tech plays that Ohio State team in Week 11, they ain't beating Ohio State.
Right.
So much of that comes into play, too, when it comes to schedule.
We've seen that in the triangle over and over and over again. Those teams who start hot and get confidence early, Duke in 13, Wake in 6, Carolina in 15, all those teams, they get those early starts and they feel good about themselves. I wonder if NC State could feel good about themselves with that schedule early this year.
Listen, the best thing
they have a chance at least to feel good about
the
themselves.
best thing NC State has going for them is nobody's talking about it.
That's Dave Dorn's
Clip
special
it,
right
save
there.
it. This man knows what he's talking about.
Look, NC State season really, we're going to know Week 1 with ECU.
With ECU.
Well, I mean, honestly,
Hey, you can't say they're not our rival.
I know.
Fight with them.
What?
Come on, man.
Military Bowl absolutely changes the dynamics of this game.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It
does.
So
I know.
They win. To Joe's
And maybe
point,
in a good way.
They feel good about
Maybe in a
themselves.
good way. Maybe they lost the battle to win the war.
Maybe.
That's right.
Maybe that's how it is. Tom, we appreciate the time.
You bet.
You don't have any more. You don't have any XFL stuff in the house, do you?
In my house?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got the $1 Million Game T-shirt. I've got the $1 Million Game hat.
Yeah.
I've got the ring might be in my backpack upstairs right now.
Yes.
If I can find it, I'll bring it down and show it to you.
What about last question? You got any Admiral stuff from
Amsterdam Admirals?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of Admiral stuff.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got some Kurt Warner Admiral stuff. I got
Whoa.
some Jake Delhomme Admiral stuff.
The
Adam
homie.
Vinatieri.
That was a room, by the way. Jake
That was a
Delhomme,
heck of a room.
with Jake Delhomme and Kurt Warner.
Yeah,
right?
how about that?
So
Yeah.
that was a room back in the
Yeah,
day.
no doubt.
The World League of America. Well, it was NFL Europe.
It was NFL Europe
yes,
at that time. That's
yes.
exactly right when I was in it.
Shout out to the Skyhawks.
Never
One
won.
game.
That's right. There
Never
you go,
won again.
Raleigh Durham Skyhawks.
Tom, we appreciate it, man. Thanks.
You bet, man. Thanks.
I love customer service, and you get great customer service with our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out, bugsbite.com. They came out to the property today to service it for Mosquito Authority, and I got a text saying, hey, we've serviced your yard, just letting you know some things that are going on. I love that kind of transparency, just like we talked with Al Riveron. I love that kind of transparency. You're going to get that with our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Go check them out, bugsbite.com, especially right now because we have reached peak gross North Carolina weather. And mosquitoes love gross North Carolina weather.
Shouts to your old neighbor, Craig.
Okay.
Okay. In the process of the access to the rowback, I make some deliveries sometimes.
Yeah.
And he had me over in your old neighborhood and in the yard.
Yeah.
The sign that can't be missed, the maroon and blue sign. Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority service here. So, yeah, do yourself a favor. Be like Craig, one of our listeners, one of your old neighbors, and go to bugsbite.com because they don't believe in contracts, but they believe in saving you money.
I believe in the power of Nature's Relief.
As you should.
Go check them out. naturesreliefhempstore.com. That's RELEAF hempstore.com. One thing I did not have on me during vacation was the sleep gummies. Man, that was a mistake on my end.
I hope you want them for tonight. Although we should be in different rooms tonight.
Oh, that's right, because you're going to snore like crazy. You know what? Damn it. I forgot them. I really, that's me. That's amateur hour on my part.
That really is.
Regardless.
I feel like last time that we were in pretty good.
We were far enough
pretty
apart.
good separation. Yeah.
And I didn't bring my AirPods, so that's a problem too.
Will you sleep with your AirPods in?
I can if I have to.
Oh, you probably did in New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, I can if I have to.
Close quarters.
You laid down in the studio a few weeks ago, and within 2 seconds, you started snoring on the floor. I'm like, what is wrong with this individual?
When I get flat on my back,
it's game over, man. Just like you can find some things at Nature's Relief that'll just lights out, man. It's sleepy time. That's what it's all about. That's why I love Nature's Relief. They got other things as well. You go in there, ask some questions. They're going to have answers for you. So again, go check out naturesreliefhempstore.com. All right, let's get out of here with not a Hey Joe. It's more of a Hey OG audience. We have the OG listener survey live right now. Initially, I had asked folks to text survey to the sports phone, 919-444-2211.
Okay.
I did not realize that I could not automate things within Google Voice. In fact, Google Voice is very much like, I'm sorry, sir, are you doing this for commercial purposes? That is not what Google Voice is for. So I've been like manually texting people.
Oh, Lord.
The survey. So we're going to make it a lot easier.
Oh, that is easier than me delivering access.
That's true. We're going to make this a lot easier for the OG listener survey. Go to oviesandgiglio.com. We are soft launching a website. It's only been over 2 years since we've been doing this thing. It's about time we had a proper website, right, Joe?
Okay.
So go to oviesandgiglio.com. It is a soft launch of a website. It's not complete yet, but there is a link to the survey at oviesandgiglio.com.
Oh.
The surveys.
Can I take the survey?
You can.
Oh, okay.
I'll know it's you
Would it be
based
helpful?
on. I know it's you based on some of the fill in the. What is anything you'd like to add, right? So the OG audience survey is a real simple concept, right? We just
really like it when Giglio drinks. Can we have more of those?
Yeah, we want more drunk Giglio episodes. Actually, we might get actual feedback on that. We want more drunk Giglio. So
it's been a minute.
It has been. It has been. So go to oviesandgiglio.com. Here's how it works. We're going to ask you a few questions on that survey. Really, it's just for us to get some kind of feedback on what you like, what you might not like, what we could do more of, a little bit information about you, so we have a better understanding of who is listening to the show, who's taking part in this podcast experience, right? And we've got 3 levels.
You crazy youths.
We got 3 levels of prizes that you can win.
Whoa.
For taking the survey. For the initial rush of people who had texted, and you can still text if you want, just understand it might be a little slow to get back to you because I'm the one texting you back. Somewhere my brother's nodding, at least he texts you back.
Whoa.
Maybe if my brother texts me survey, I'll text him back. I don't know.
Scarring.
Anyway, first prize, these are for the people who have already texted. You will get your choice of a Comfort Colors pocket tee and a hat from the pop-up shop.
2.
That's on us.
Nice.
Prize number 2.
A trip to Buffalo.
No. Prize number 2 is the OG Light prize pack.
Ooh.
You get a tap handle.
Oh, yeah, we have those.
You'll get a shirt.
We have those.
Maybe you'll get a beer. I don't know the legalese on that.
Yeah, but let's just
It might
call
just
it
be
the OG Light prize
it's
pack.
an OG Light prize pack. There will definitely be a tap handle. There will definitely be a shirt.
I like that.
Okay. And then, wait, I'm now drawing a blank on what the third one was.
A trip to Buffalo.
There's a third one. I forgot what it was. It'll come to me. Regardless, it's been a long day already. Me and technology have not been friends today. Regardless.
We started the show with Luke, and back in another life, I used to cover hockey with Luke.
Yeah.
And Luke was the beat writer, and I was his backup. And so there's 42 road games.
Mm-hmm.
After the first year, you're young and hungry, and you're like, I don't need to make all 42 road trips. So by the end of our time covering the Canes together, it was, all right, man, I'll let you go to Boston, but you got to do 2 Buffaloes. All right, you can have a New York, but there's got to be an Ottawa in there too.
These sound like places I want to go to. Anyway. So go to oviesandgiglio.com. Again, keep in mind that the website is a work in progress right now, and that'll be up and running with a bunch of other things that are going on. But for right now, you can go there and find the link to the survey. We would appreciate it if you take it, and that way we can improve the podcast or just keep it going. Either way, that's going to wrap it up for today's pod. We will see you tomorrow with scheduled to join us ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, and we'll also talk to Wes Durham and our friend Taylor Tannenbaum as well. So it'll be a fun show. We'll see you then.